Welcome. Wow, that's 2 weeks straight away. Welcome everyone to the Laser Livestream. My name is Gil Poznansky. So glad you could join us. I feel a little bit like I'm wired for sound, which probably means I'm going to go and talk to someone in a little bit. I wonder who that possibly could be. If you're in the chat room right now, love if you jump in there and say hello to let us know where you're from or in this amazing planet of ours. We're going to spend the next hour talking about Lightburn, lasers, the emblazer, hobby cutting, whatever it is. This is the place to have that conversation, and I'm just really glad to be here with you all again. We're gonna have an incredible laser live stream today, so this is definitely an episode you don't want to miss out. So guys, I want to thank you so much for coming along. I know people are going to be coming and dropping in as they go along. My background's looking very pink today. I'm going to have to fix that up. Pink and blue, which is kind of interesting. Maybe we'll have to keep changing the colors. It does make things a little bit more interesting when we're here. I feel like I'm at Laser Central. I have screens and monitors and laser machines and everything else here. I know that if you're in Australia, and we are based in Melbourne, Australia, here in Victoria, we've been coming out of this COVID situation. We were locked down the last time I saw you, we were just lifting the lockdown, but even before that, we were locked down for another 2 weeks. So, if you're in New South Wales, especially the Sydney area, it seems that there's a little bit of an outbreak happening there. So wherever you are, like, it doesn't matter if you're in Australia or elsewhere, it really is kind of a weird space to be in right now. So I hope that you and your family are safe, and I really want everyone to be as safe as possible. It's a shame that we can't take the laser technology and just kind of like laser the COVID in the air or something like that. Maybe that's the next Star Wars movie. Maybe they can lightsaber that stuff out of there. I'm not too sure, but either way, stay safe. It's awesome that you guys are here. Let's go to the chat room really quickly because I see a whole bunch of people in here. I see Mike. Mike from Queensland comes in first off, and you can see my comment there. It's not a laser live stream without Mike in the house. Welcome. I see Adrian here as well saying, "Hey, Mike, Gil, and Audrey." Oh, I actually missed Audrey from Melbourne. How could I do that? That's not good. I apologize, Audrey. Thank you so much for being here from Melbourne. I see Adrian also here from Cooktown, and Mike sharing with us that Jen's in the lounge. You mean Jen's letting you use the laser? Because I've been seeing what's been going on the last couple of weeks, and I've been thinking you haven't had any time on the laser. Jen's taken over. It's good to have Mike here, but I think Jen is now. No, we'll leave that alone. I don't want to start any fights. I don't want to be like, "Hey guys, we had a real big blowout because someone didn't have the laser." I think you got to talk to someone about getting a second laser. That's what I think we should do. But Mike's in there. So Jen's in the lounge. You're at the office. 3 hours of work left. Wow, you're working late tonight, Mike. I hope it goes swiftly, and thank you so much for hanging out with us, especially when work's going on. Jen sharing us, the 7-month-old was mesmerized by the countdown, Gil, and is still watching intently. That is awesome. Thank you. Well, maybe you need 3 machines. I don't know. Let's see what's going to happen. But I had a lot of fun putting that laser intro together, so I'm glad someone had some interest and some joy out of that. That's great. I see Bruce. Wow, Bruce, how you doing? You're all the way from New Zealand. I hope you're safe over there. I heard that, again, one of the Aussies kind of let down the team and brought a little gift when they were visiting, so I hope you're okay as well. I'll get the E3. Jen can have the E-Core. I love that idea, Mike. That would be awesome. Audrey's Jen the Laser Queen. Look at that. That's awesome. We take turns, I'm sure. Mal is here too. Malcolm, how you going? You're checking in from Gympie, which is great. And Matt is here as well. Again, every single time we do this, more and more people come and join the community that we're building here, and it is just so awesome to, when we started out, there was like 1 or 2 people, and that was it. It slowly has been growing. It's really, really great to see everyone here, and I really do appreciate all the support. And talking about support, I really want to acknowledge as well the people who have helped make this live stream possible. I started this live stream in the COVID lockdown here in Victoria. Got to a point where I had to start making some serious decisions on where to put my attention. I reached out to Darkly Labs and Lightburn, and like champions that they are, they stepped forward. So I want to thank both Darkly Labs, home of the emblazer range, the laser that we concentrate on, but we're not limited to, here on the stream is the Emblazer. I have one in my office. A few people here are also using the Emblazer. If you are looking at getting a laser for a classroom, for an office, something like that, not in a big workshop, not having to outlay big extraction, big water cooling, and you're doing unique type of work, and you'll see some of that in a little bit, definitely go check out the Emblazer at darklylabs.com. And of course, we also want to thank the guys at Lightburn. Lightburn is the software that runs the Emblazer as well as many other amazing pieces of laser technology. Lightburn is, as far as I'm concerned, seriously one of the things that has made my laser experience, and probably the experience for a lot of other people as well, so rewarding, because you can get the results. You know, back before I used Lightburn and I was using some of the Chinese laser cutters, you would have to design your whatever you wanted to cut out in a separate design, like program, like what did I use? I used Inkscape, I used a little bit of Illustrator, and then you used to use a different type of software. I actually used a software called CamBam, which was designed for CNC routers, but was modified to shoot the laser as opposed to running a bit into a piece of material. CamBam, laser web, there's a whole bunch of things out there, and it was always two separate things. And you know what I love about Lightburn? I can go into Lightburn, lay out my job. It's got some incredibly cool features, and we're going to talk about one of them, tracing, a little bit later on in this live stream. We're going to do a deep dive into all about tracing. And then, you know, I can design it directly in Lightburn and then get Lightburn to run the job on my machine. And to me, that's power, baby. That's one of the reasons why I love coming and doing this every 2 weeks, is because I get to talk about two products that I really love legitimately. If no one ever supported the live stream, I would still be here talking about, oh gosh, maybe they'll be like, Gil, we're not going to do this anymore. But you know, you guys know what I mean. I literally use this software and this hardware almost every single day, and I've yet to have a problem with it. So guys, if you're a new user out there, or you're someone who's already kind of put their toe in the Emblazer / Lightburn universe, put your foot in a little bit longer. It's a pretty amazing thing. We're going to talk about that as well. The live streams are not about just talking up technology and software. We're actually here with some really strong intentions. So I like laying those intentions out every single stream. And our very first intention is the fact that we are here to build a creative and interactive laser community. Without you, we have no community. I'm happy to show all the stuff that I make, but the truth of the matter is, I am amazed and really, really empowered by seeing what other people create in the laser community. So that's what we're here for. We do that in a number of ways. We do the laser live stream here. We also have a Facebook community, which I'm going to invite you guys to if you're not already members. That is our very first intention. Our second intention is to support laser users right across the board. If you're using a diode laser, a CO2 laser, a fiber laser, if you're using a laser pointer, a lightsaber, we'll support you too. But we are here to support laser users. And you know what? We are stronger together than we are apart. Our third intention is to share knowledge. No one is the keeper of knowing everything. And it is just amazing to be able to share what one knows and then go and ask these amazing people who come and support the stream, who are in the Facebook group, who work with the technology, who work with the software, to be able to help everyone to get to the results that they want. And ultimately here, our last intention is to learn from everyone. As I was saying before, not one person is an expert at everything, although I got to be honest with you, after today's laser duel, I think we might know who might be the expert. That's what I'm thinking. But it is just amazing, and we want to, if you're here to share, if you're here to help out, it is pretty amazing to be able to do that in a live community. Now, you know what? It's awesome. I love going back to the chat room. This is not a one-way street or anything like that. We love to be able to talk, and people were saying here, Jen was saying, all going to plans, we'll watch the next one from New Zealand. So Mike's hoping to go to New Zealand. Okay, that's awesome. Jen also sharing that my favorite projects are the ones we do together. Team Culver. You see, that's I love that. You make me all warm inside. You know what? I've got to start letting other people use my laser, so I can say there's a team going on. Someone right now is probably going, yes, Gil. I keep asking to use the laser, and I'm like, yeah. But you know what? You've set the mantle down, Jen. That's awesome. Love the Facebook community, says Jen. It's so great connecting with everyone. I do too. It's absolutely awesome. And Mike is also Malcolm, is sharing that the fact that Lightburn creates the laser file and drives the laser is the real winner. I agree with that. It is pretty awesome to see. So the cat. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, things aren't updating on my screen. The cat. Which cat? Is my cat? Are you talking about is my cat in here? Little Avery's kind of jumping around. We'll see what's going on there. High five, let's do a collab. Absolutely, Bruce. We can do that. You know that. I'm more than happy to work with people, and I love that. That's what I love. Gil shares the laser with the cat. Kid you not, since you brought that up, Mike, you're right, that my cat happens to love to sit on my Emblazer and look out the window. Well, the other day I was working on a project. No joke, I had the lid up. He thought he was going to jump up. He ended up in the laser tray and looked at me like, this is the wrong place for me to be. And I looked at him and just started chuckling because I thought to myself, oh my gosh, if I could engage the laser right now, I promise you will never come back in this room. But he's awesome. Yes, my cat is pretty awesome. Your cat's going to use the laser? Yeah, I think he would. Well, he's laying on top of it. He's definitely turned it off because he's walked across the lid and the interlock went off a couple of times. He definitely jumped into it. I think the next thing I need to do is teach him how to use Lightburn so he can make his own thing. I think he'll just heat up his food. Or maybe he'll cut his kibble or something like that. We'll see what happens. Jen says 100%. I used to use a different program to create designs, then Mike would trace them in Lightburn. So much easier now using in Lightburn. I also use Photoshop a lot to make layers, especially with colored projects. I have a video coming out where I made the logo from Space Camp, and that had, I think, 4 or 5 colors. Definitely 5 layers, 4 colors, 5 layers. And I used Photoshop because it could select the colors and separate them. And then I brought all of those layers into Lightburn and merged them in. So absolutely, I know exactly what you're talking about there, Jen. It is pretty amazing when you see. And like, no joke. Why am I saying no joke a lot? But like, fair dinkum, guys, because this is an Australian stream, right? Lightburn's like under, what is it now, $40 or $50 or something like that with the exchange rate? It is like the value you get for it. Oh, it's pretty amazing. So for all of you who are watching, and maybe you're not, or maybe you're lurking, we love the lurkers too. You're part of the community as well. We love it when you are active in the chat room, but I'm going to share with you some of the ways that you can get involved. And that's simply first of all, if you haven't, please hit that subscribe button to help support this project, because that is a really, really important part of it. We're up against as well all the content that's on YouTube, and I got to be honest with you, I can't even come close to Mr. Beast. When he's giving away cars, people are going to watch him before they're going to watch this stream. So every little bit of interaction on YouTube helps get this stream out. So hitting that subscribe button not only helps people know that you're watching and that this is the sort of content you like, but it also helps you to not miss any of the laser videos, the maker videos, or the laser live streams. And guys, please don't be afraid to chat. I love being able to converse with you guys in the stream. That's what this is all about. But if you're maybe watching this on a replay, or you're not quite there to get in and actually have that conversation live, you can always drop me an email at laser.livestream@gmail.com. And of course, we have our Facebook group, which is found at www.facebook.com/groups/laser livestream. There's also another way that you can help and support. In the chat room, there are things called super chats. This is a built-in thing that YouTube does. They do them as stickers. They do them as a whole bunch of things. You can actually nominate an amount and actually donate it to the streamer to help run their projects. And if you don't want to do it through YouTube, and I can understand some people are like, I don't want to give Google my credit card numbers, you can actually go below, and in the description, there is what is called a one-time PayPal donation. So if you have a PayPal account, you can donate an amount of any sort towards this project. Everything that comes in goes to either the equipment or getting materials to continue bringing the information that I do here on the live streams and the videos. And I really do appreciate that sort of support, because you know what? I got a request today to do a whole bunch of really interesting materials in the laser. I've got to go out and get them. And sometimes that all adds up. So if you're interested, maybe you've got a tip that saved the day, or maybe made your job a little easier. Maybe you just want to say, hey, Gil, I really like what you're doing. That's a great way to be able to show your support and appreciation. And I want to thank everyone who's actually taken that step before in the past, and hopefully in the future. I really appreciate what you guys do. So what's on tonight? Let's talk about what we're going to do in the live stream. Let's see what's going to happen. So first of all, we're going to go and do the Emblazer user showcase. We do this every week. We showcase some of the work that has been shared on Facebook and sometimes comes directly to me, and see what people are using their lasers to create. And then, dun dun dun, Laser Duel with Dom from Darkly Labs. I'm finally going to see what he created, and I'm going to show you guys what I created while in lockdown. After having Dominic on the live stream, he created the Laser Duel, and we're going to see, finally, we're going to pay up and see who wins this Laser Duel. After that, we're going to go and we're going to talk about the trace function in Lightburn. This is something that most people use but don't dig too deeply. So we're going to go right through it, and I'm going to explain to you how you can get the results that you would hopefully want when you're using the trace function. And I think this is the killer app or killer function in Lightburn. Absolutely. And then we're going to go and visit the good, the bad, the ugly when it comes to materials. And the material choice of today is actually going to be foam, because a lot of people like to put foam into their lasers. So what's safe, what's not safe, what shouldn't you ever do? And Jen, oh my gosh, thank you so much, Jen, already with a super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's awesome. And Bruce also saying, looking forward to the duel. Can we forward through to that? No, Bruce, we can't, because you know what? This stream is all about the users. We're building a community. So let's go straight into it, and let's show what people have been making with these incredible machines. So first off, we have Adrian. I think, is Adrian in here? He usually does come in. No, Adrian's here. How you doing, Adrian? So Adrian's been doing some amazing work using the kind of engrave function, getting images onto material. I believe, Adrian, if I'm right, and it's been a while since I looked at this because I prepared this earlier this week, I believe that might be your father or uncle. But what a great result you're getting there. There you can see the result that he has on the left-hand side and the picture on the right. And I'm telling you, every week when you see the results that you're getting and just honing it and refining it, it is just so awesome to see what you're doing. It's going to take probably 30 seconds before Adrian is able to get back to us on that. But look at that. That's pretty amazing stuff. So much detail in there. Yes, Audrey, I agree 100%. There is so much detail in there, and it's beautiful to see. Adrian, also, look at this. Look at this, man. I see a complete side business here for Adrian. I hope that you definitely take advantage of the new skills that you're learning. But you can see here I guess it's a military ship. It's definitely an Australian military ship. I was going to say, is that a frigate? What's the term? I'm not too sure what the term is. But Adrian has also used cork in this case to transfer the image. And again, look at the detail that's in there. Look at the I like the texture in this. If you look at the original image on the left and then the result you get on the right, I mean, that's a really unique. The sky is just popping. And I think that's really amazing to see that kind of result. So I'm sure maybe Adrian fell asleep. I'm not too sure, but we'll work through it. Adrian, as always, great to see these results. I did a lot of work on tiles using my own kind of formula. I want to try and get back into that, and also play with the Norton method. And just the inspiration of seeing your results time and time again is just awesome. Yes, it's so good. Love the textures and shades in that cork board. It's awesome. Mal, who's also here with us in the chat room, has just recently put together his core, and you can see here he was working on trying to get the best results with a piece of wood. And I wanted to show this because this is some of the testing that, some people, they just kind of, they test and they work out exactly what results they want. Mal's obviously going through this systematically. I know that Mal used to be a technology and design teacher, so it is great to see him go through this process. In this case, he's actually using the image. It's obviously Abigail, a new baby, and it's just really, really cool. So Adrian's just sharing with us here. This is a local sale. It turned into a multiple order. Oh, okay. That's the HMAS Anzac. I didn't know that. That's awesome. I'm so glad that you're getting the results you're getting right now, Adrian. It's awesome. But Mal, if you're in there, I really love this. This is a great example, and I love the fact that you showed the workflow to be able to kind of work out the results that you wanted to get. And I can see from the chat room, people are loving your testing and trials as well as the great progression. Now, given the fact that Mal has really only had his machine for pretty much a month, look at the results that he's getting. This shows quite easily how people are able to get, how this equipment is able to be used by anyone straight off the bat. It is just awesome to see what Mal is doing. So great work with that. I'm sure that Abigail will be very, very happy as she gets older to see that you immortalize her on a hand. I'm just wondering, is that a luggage tag, or maybe they don't know who Abigail is? They got to hang that around her neck. I don't know, so everyone knows this is Abigail. Don't mess with her. We also Mal did this a little earlier. I loved it, but I didn't get a chance to add it into the last live stream. One of the first things that he did was this sign that reminds you to measure twice and only cut once, which is a great saying because a lot of people use it. Always measure twice before you cut because you can never go back. I believe that's sitting in Mal's workshop and is just, again, just a chuckle, but very, very clever because you can see what he's done there. You definitely need to be able to remind that sort of lesson. Great job there, Mal. In fact, you know what? I think I want to make something like that myself. You've inspired me. Matt also in the Facebook group was playing with some felt, and I like this example of I believe I guess it's an ostrich. No, it's not an ostrich. I was going to say it's a chicken, but it's not a chicken either. But this amazing bird, again, done with felt, multiple layers, cutting the pieces out with the emblazer. Really cool to see another piece of artwork using different mediums than what we expect here, in the sense that we haven't seen a lot of felt work. Matt, great job on that. It's really cool to see. Liam, our very own Liam, who joined us for a live stream a while back, also shared with us. He made this, I believe it's a jewelry box monster using felt, and I just thought it was way too cute not to be able to show. So I'm hoping Liam will come and join us again. He works for Darkly Labs. He helps a lot of people troubleshoot their issues when they're learning how to use the Emblazer or Lightburn. And I just thought this is just so cute, a four-eyed googly monster. So there you go. It's pretty cool. Is it a galah? Is it a cockatoo? I don't know. But you know what? It's really super cool. This thing, I have no idea. Anyone in the chat room know what this thing's called? Just don't call it Mum and we'll be all okay. But great job there, Liam. Well, look who's here. Jen's work here too. Again, just really cool to see the progression Jen has made using the Emblazer core. And you can see a piece of work where she's actually made a nameplate and framed it up with a hand and footprint, along with I'm assuming that's your daughter. I don't actually know your daughter's name, so I'm just going to assume there. But again, great work, and you can see, I know that you were asking some questions about how to actually weld letters together in Lightburn. It's great to see that not only did you get the answer, but how you're actually applying this technology. So Jen, fantastic work, and there you go. There's another piece using, again, that idea of taking letters and then welding them together by moving them slightly closer together, allowing Lightburn to join them all up. And you can see there a really sweet, it's almost like a family tree almost of sorts. Elena is your daughter? I hope so. Otherwise, well, maybe you've got a side business. I'm not too sure. But Jen, great work there. And then I saw these that I had to just join I had to share this. And this was from Andrew. Andrew took the laser and started creating kind of dogs. And I think that's a striped leopard on the left-hand side, which is just so amazing to see. Again, another application of what can be done with a laser by making a three-dimensional object. These were really, really cool. I loved seeing these posted up. And again, I have absolutely no idea the workflow to make a three-dimensional object like that, but I am like super keen now to be able to understand that, because I have figurines that I want to make. I've got statues that I want to make that I can put around the house. A tiger, yeah, it could be a tiger on the left-hand side, absolutely. What I like about it, the tiger on the left, is the fact that some of the parts are painted yellow, some of the parts are painted black. That's obviously been done after these pieces have been cut out, and they're just so stunning, so stunning. Mal sharing with us, I wanted to try a photo instead of just a line drawing of the baby. Absolutely, Mal. And you know what? You're going to get great results out of that. It's really kind of cool. 3D cat to put on the laser. Mike, do you think if I can actually do that, I'll, he might not get on my laser? We'll have to see. Liam's in the house as well. Hey, Liam, we were just showing you. Hey, Gil, the felt-covered box is inspired by the monster book of monsters from Harry Potter. Awesome. That's awesome. Like I said, it was so cool to see that project of yours. I really wanted to share it. And thank you so much for letting us do that. And it's great that you're here, Liam. I'm so glad that you were able to join us. Wow. So you know what? Again, every week when I go through, I just get so inspired by what people are creating. And it's great. We all start in one place, and then we just keep going through and working out what's going on. I actually just realized that there's a piece of suffrage that could be created, that could create that. A piece of software that could create those tigers and lions. I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to look into it. Slicer, there used to be a thing on 123D, which used to be a free bunch of software, online software that was given out by Autodesk. They've stopped that, and they had a slicer program where you could build a three-dimensional object, and then instead of taking it to a 3D printer, you could slice it up and then print those slices. So that could definitely be one of the options, Bruce. I'm not too sure. Well, you know what? Something to discuss, and then research, do a little investigation. Maybe we can present it here on the live stream. We'll see what's going on there. I thought it looked familiar. Great job, Liam. Great, Jen. Playing with different things, Adrian. Oh, well, there you go, man. It's a sketch mode now. I see what's going on. It's all, you know what? When you explore new technology, you can never go wrong. Isn't that true? But now, talking about going wrong, let's talk about it. You've been waiting for it. I know Bruce has been waiting for it. Let's talk about the laser duel. Laser duel with Dominic from Darkly Labs. Last time he was here, he decided that he was going to throw down and say, Gil, let's challenge each other. And we just happen to have Dominic on the line. Dom, are you still here? Hey, Dominic, how are you? There he is. Actually, no one can hear you, so let's try that again. Dominic, are you doing well?
I'm doing well.
There's the audio.
Testing?
Yes. No, you came through now. So, it was supposed to be 2 weeks, but because we got caught up with COVID and all the rest of it, it took us a little bit longer, and there's no problem there. Look, Mike's saying he's queuing up the Jaws music. I think I get kicked off YouTube if I started playing music, but I kind of feel like that. I feel like I'm chumming the water right now. Dominic, yes, you see, he knows. He knows what's going on. It's been a lot of fun. Tell us a little bit about kind of gearing up for what you're going to present today.
Well, look, it's a project that I've had in the back of my mind for quite a while, and I just never had the motivation to actually go forward and do it. And in all, as you see when we show it, it's not my original idea. It's
Sure.
a project that someone else has created,
Hold on.
and I've just taken it and made it a bit more my own, modified it a little bit. But yeah, look, the Duel was a good way to actually give myself a reason to make something, which I haven't done for a while.
Yes. I was really glad to do it. First of all, I'm kind of a little bit flabbergasted. I thought this was your original idea. Well, if that's the case, No, it's kind of funny. No, but you know what? You had to make it work, and you had to get it to happen. So absolutely, man. It's pretty amazing. Just to let you know, everyone's in the chat room is saying hello to you, and Bruce is also saying winner winner chicken dinner. So I know where he's said he's all like, oh, okay, that Dominic, I do business with him. It's all good. But yeah, you know what? Regardless where the idea comes from, it's actually about the execution, being able to make it happen. So would you like to share with you guys, with everyone here, what it is that we're actually going, what it's called?
Yeah, so it's called an auto glockenspiel, or auto xylophone, and it's a little device that has a drum, and you can place little pegs in the drum, and as the drum rotates, it actuates the different hammers on the little toy xylophone, and you can it's like a little programmable music player. So
that's
yeah,
awesome.
That's kind of basically, yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. So I should share with everyone that, like, Dominic sent me this a few hours ago so I could put this all together for the laser live stream, and the file was called Auto Glock. And at that point, I wrote back to him and said, "You win." And he goes, "It's not a gun." I go, "I know what it is, but you still win." So I was just like, okay, that was kind of funny. So you know what? Let's. I've got a video of it playing, which is kind of awesome. So let's share that with everyone. So just to let you know, Dom, no one can hear you right now because the video's playing. Cool. Hey. That's so awesome, man. So great. I mean, tell us a little bit about how it works. Tell us a little bit about kind of the journey to. I mean, obviously you saw the idea, but you had to make it kind of work with what you had on hand. Just a little bit. Oh, hang on. So sorry, Dom. I'm sorry. They just told me no one can hear you. So let's just do that all again. I apologize, guys. Sometimes with when we play videos, it causes a little bit of problem. So Tom, that's okay. See, that's the delay problem. Do you want to take it from the top? Tell us about how you came about this.
Yeah, look, Gil, it might be worthwhile showing the photo.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
probably a good way.
Absolutely.
Look, the original machine that I based this on used a hand crank to drive the drum. So I thought I'd up the ante and put a little servo motor on there. And there's also a speed control, so you can adjust how fast the drum turns. So that was the first deviation. And secondly, if you can see from those photos, there's on the right photo, there's these little rubber bands. And believe it or not, that was actually the hardest part of making this project. And
Sure.
they're little tuning. They used to tune each of the keys. The original project,
okay.
basically, when the key landed, it just stopped onto the xylophone key when the hammer landed, and it really dulled the sound. It was a really awful sound. So coming up with that little rubber band idea, which I had a little bit of help from some of the guys at Darkly.
It was a
really
team
just
job.
meant the.
Oh
It was a
gosh,
team. Just
I'm
on that
really
bit,
going to
just
lose
on
it.
that bit.
Okay, that's okay. Just a little bit.
Um,
Hi, Chris.
that was that was yeah, that was like one of the key things to make the whole thing work and sound good.
Awesome.
And yeah, look, it's 99.9% laser cut. I painted some bits. I wanted to have a little bit of contrast. If I had more time, I think I rushed to this one. I left it to the last minute.
That's okay.
But if I had more time, I probably would have added a little bit more color and done a few things. But yeah, that's kind of how my brain worked on that one.
Just rushed it to the last minute. I threw this together, with some of the parts that we use to make laser cutters and some of the electronic boards and some of the servo motors. That's okay, man.
It was fun. It was fun because
it looked like a lot of fun.
You look at these projects. Yeah, you look at these projects and you think, okay, well, what's going to be the hardest part? And you never get it right.
Of course.
It's always the thing that you think is just is never on your brain at the start of it all. So we love solving those challenges.
Absolutely. And you know what? I mean, we don't want to take you too far away from the E3 design. So I'm glad you didn't spend too much time on this. But at the same time, it's spectacular. It's absolutely spectacular.
Thank you.
And I like, I think I'm correct when I saw the file name and just went, hey, you won. Because I know that we had discussed certain things before, and this was one of the things that we had discussed, and you had said you wanted to make one. And you know what? I totally get that. Amazing. I guess now I got to show what I made. Let me show you guys what I came up with. So this is what I did. I actually, I'll show it to them and they can speak for themselves. I actually recreated 2 comic book covers. Both comic books actually, it's places where I first read the series. One was the X-Men, one was the Iron Man. And what I ended up doing was actually using the laser to scan the artwork onto some wood, and then used some acrylic paints and some watercolors to actually bring those about and make them come alive. And I think one of the things that's really cool about this challenge is we both came from very different areas. So this is, again, something, I was thinking about it after we spoke earlier today, Dom, but this was something that I was inspired to do in a completely different way. And what was really interesting was this challenge allowed me to go and explore that. Hi.
Yeah, I think they are absolutely awesome. We you showed them to me earlier on, and we were just
thank you, man,
just blown away by that. And they it's coming at things. Our brains work in different ways, and they think of different things. And I would struggle to do that, but I find the mechanical stuff okay for me to work on, and that is just really amazing work. The amount of detail and if you show the size of those things,
I'll do that in
incredible.
a second. I've just put up an image. That's the original image from the comic book that was done in the 80s. Issue 101, which is one of those really, really cool comic books. And you can see how took the influence. I mean, you can't do a carbon copy. If I wanted to do that, I would just take it to a photocopier. But again, to be able to do it that way, and as Dom was saying, a lot of people go, hey, how big were they? And that's actually, it's getting overblown, but they're almost like postcard size. So, getting that sort of detail in there, and here's the second one, it was a lot of work. My lights, all my screens and stuff are blowing them out, but that was pretty cool. One of the things that I do want to definitely discuss about making this project, not from an excuse point of view, but because of the lockdown, it's not like I could go out and buy materials, so I had to use what was on hand, and it really pushed my comfort level out. So I'm not one to use paints and paintbrushes and things like that at all. And when I first started this, when I first lasered the templates and then started working on getting some color into these, so that I could actually kind of create these the way they would actually look. And if you go back, if I go back to this image, you can see there's some real subtlety in the backgrounds, because in a comic book that's a solid color, and I wasn't able to go and do that at all. Trying to move off some of the art theory that I know, where Iron Man's standing, you can see some of his shadow and a few other things like that. And when I started that DOM, man, I was like, this looks terrible. It looks terrible. And then I slowly kind of, you slowly put those pieces together. And just like any other maker project, it's like when you create all the pieces, and it, individually they don't really stand out, but when you put them all together, I was just like, wow. It was incredibly cathartic. It was a couple of hours on each one, and it allowed me to be able to go and kind of use my dominant brain, but in a completely different way. So after that, when everything opened up, I went and bought myself some paints and went down to a art store here, and I'm like now painting everything. So I really, really want to thank you for putting that down. And you know what? If you're not too afraid, I'm more afraid. But I think we should do this again. But let's ask the chat room. You've seen the results from this laser challenge. Who do you guys? Not who won, but which project do you like better? Do you like the auto Glock that doesn't shoot anyone but makes incredible music? And that reminds me, when I first saw it, I remember those pianos that used to put paper in, and they used to run the paper through, and they used to play the songs. It's that kind of theory, which I thought was really, really interesting.
Yeah.
The next trick is to do it through paper, so you can do punch paper and like just do a whole, Michael Jackson beat it by next laser live stream.
Well, it's interesting because you're limited to the size of the drum.
Sure, absolutely.
So if you want to have a more complex tune, your drum has to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So you can put more keys, more notes into it. But look, my vote is for yours, Gil. I really am impressed by the artmanship. You know what I'm trying to say?
Are you calling me an artist? How dare you?
Let's make up a word.
How dare you? How dare you? I got thrown out of university because I refused to accept that I was. No, I didn't get thrown out of university, but people didn't like me in my media course because I said, "How dare you call me an artist? I'm a storyteller."
Maybe you should be an artiste. Well, maybe that's a problem.
Yeah, maybe something like that. But I do appreciate it. I think what you made was amazing. Really, really cool. Bruce is saying the Emblazer superheroes. Yeah, maybe we should have a whole Emblazer superhero range. Then we can do the Emblazer cinematic universe. And like we'll just take it that way. Do you happen to know anyone who could do special effects in films, Dom?
Off the top of your head? One or two people. Maybe.
We'll see what happens. Adrian says he likes the comics, but he's laughing, so I'm not too sure about that. Malcolm's sharing with us at the recent Design and Technology Teachers Association conference. There were a lot of CO2 lasers. Who needs one of those when the Emblazer does this sort of stuff? This again, when I talk about the Emblazer, it's not coming. I can say this, and Dom can tell. If Dom sells 50 lasers because of the laser live stream, doesn't mean anything to me, right? It's not. I don't get commission. I don't get any of that sort of stuff. But what I love about it is it allows people to use the technology in creative ways, and that's exactly what I've been saying about the Emblazer specifically, and some of the other diode lasers that are out there. I can't talk about the other ones. I can talk about the Emblazer because I have one and I use it quite often. And to me, it's a difference between, a CO2 laser has a lot of energy that it transmits into a material, and to me, it's like a jackhammer. Oh, you know what? It doesn't cut it out the way you want it the first time. You just put that power up, baby, and it will just burn a hole through most of the material. Well, with the Emblazer, you can't do that. So what you need to do is, like a surgeon and a surgeon's scalpel, you're in there cutting finely. Maybe that first cut isn't all the way through because you don't want to damage something, but you can go back and do it again. So once you understand, you have that kind of it's almost like muscle memory, but it's really, I guess, in a way, Lightburn memory, right? So once you understand how all these pieces come together, the Emblazer is going to allow you to do whatever it is that you want to create, right? It might not do it as quick as some of these, 300 watt lasers. You might not be able, I tell you right now, you're not going to be able to burn steel or aluminium, but you are able to get what's in your head out. And what my catch cry or my catchphrase when people say to me, what's your elevator pitch, Gil? What do you do for work? And I say, I show people how to take their imagination and put it in the palm of their hand. And the Emblazer and a whole bunch of technology now, but we're talking about lasers, they allow you to do that. So that is what I love about it. And these guys, like I said, I picked the covers of comic books that inspired me to read, and that led to other things that I did. So, yeah, I love that. I never thought that I was going to actually do this project. I think it was one of the first projects we actually even discussed when we first started talking. I wanted to make a huge, big kind of mural. I think of Spider-Man issue 1 because I love Spidey, and
Yeah, I think it's
great.
It just empowers you. And looking at all this stuff, even the showcase you showed earlier, some really impressive work in there, and it's diverse too. So yeah, very, very good. Just let your imagination soar.
Absolutely. A lot of people saying it's different. It's so different, hard to choose. Both are incredible for both reasons. I think we were saying this before. It's like I'm amazed because I wouldn't. Well, I don't think I could. I haven't tried to make a machine like Dom had made. I'd like to think that if I put enough energy and understanding into it, I could definitely do it. And vice
versa.
Exactly, it's just experience.
I don't know if I could. Let's call it a draw.
I think I would be incredibly proud to say, we're both winners here. We both did something that we wanted to do. We both pushed the boundaries, and we were able to get what we needed made. So it is awesome to be able to do that.
Done.
Do that with you. It's really, really a pleasure to be able to go and do these sort of things. I'm scared for the next one though. I have no idea what I'm going to do, but that's okay. I spent a Sunday going, what am I going to do? I can't get the stuff that I want. And it was like, okay, what have I got around the house? So, it's wonderful.
Maybe we'll put a little topic on the next one.
Okay. We should do that.
Let's have a think about it, but we'll just set a parameter.
What alien artifact would you bring home if you were traveling with the Doctor in the TARDIS? Go.
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks. I really appreciate you doing that, Gil. And,
I loved it.
Yeah, I'm glad you joined in.
And thank you so much for suggesting it. I think that a lot of people were eager to see what's going on, and again, I'm really glad that you didn't take too much time away from the amazing work you're doing. But it's just amazing, and you know what? We've got my two fur kids who's just come and joined us for the very first time, saying, "Push the boundaries, Gil." Well, I try to push something, but thank you so much, my two fur kids. Spirit Junkie saying it's awesome that you highlight everyone's project. So inspirational. Nice drum-like piano player. So cool. Yeah, you love it. Malcolm sharing. I agree, Audrey. I love the detail in Gills, but I love the technical detail in Dom's, which is awesome. And Mal also is super keen to see the Emblazer at the next conference. So you know what? Like I said, it is just this sort of technology you can take into the classroom, you can take into your office. I kid you not, I say it all the time. I'm going to do it right now. I'm knocking. Hear that? That's my Emblazer. It's literally this far away from me. And you know what? There are definitely times where I'm working on getting the stream together, or I'm doing some paperwork, and I go, hey, you know what? Let me go do this real quick, and the laser's going, and by the time I finish it, I turn around and I've actually made something else, and that is just incredibly, incredibly empowering. So, Dominic, thank you so much for coming on and sharing that with us.
My pleasure.
Definitely stick around. We're going a little long today. So I'm going to ask the chat room, guys, would you like me to go and do the tracing kind of deep dive? It will take me a little bit of time, or what we can do is we can save that for another live stream, and we can definitely jump to the materials, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'm more than happy to go a little bit long. I know that for some people an hour was their limit, and we out of all our enthusiasm and our chatting, we kind of came up to the hour mark, or coming up to the hour mark. But we'll see what's going on there. Dominic, I know that you're here in Melbourne with me. I know that you've been locked down for the last two weeks, or slowly opening up. Please stay safe. Please make sure that everyone that's working with you understands how much we appreciate the work that you guys are doing. And thank you so much for creating a machine that has done all of this sort of stuff.
Yeah, my pleasure. And thanks for having us on. And
Always.
until next time.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. Excellent.
Okay.
So
See ya.
amazing. See you later, Dom. So amazing to see to be able to have that opportunity. Man, I got to make some stuff and put it up against the brainchild of the Emblazer. How awesome is that? It's really awesome. Jen saying, yes, please. You want to see about the tracing? That's okay. We'll keep going. Yeah, we'll keep going then. Mike and Jen are more than happy to go and do that. So that is no problem. It sounds like everyone else wants to go and do that. The Lightburn YouTube and Darkly Lab videos are great. Thank you so much, Mal. That's really kind of cool. And Darkly does their own videos too, but you know what? They have been so amazing to be able to create this sort of content for everyone, and also kind of support other people like me. You know, who am I? I'm just the guy who stands in front of the camera, or sitting in this case. So, my two fur kids, good to see you too, man. It's really good to see you. So, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go jump into it, because I don't want to keep you guys any longer, but I do want to give you some tips and tricks to leave this live stream with. So let's go. I've got to find the right one, because I think it's this one. Let's go check it out. No, it isn't. Let's try this one. So Lightburn, deep dive, trace. So trace function is one of the power functions that make Lightburn a standout application, not only to control your laser, but to create your own content and layout. And the trace function can actually be found in the tools menu. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to do this live. We're not going to do it for too long, but we're going to go through all the different steps. Let me just turn on my laptop, and let's hope the computer works. Wow, it worked. There you go. So here's Lightburn. I grabbed a quick little logo from a TV show that I absolutely love. Points to the first person in the chat room who knows what that logo is and where it's from. Spirit Junkie saying, great challenge between the two of you, but I'm certainly not picking. Both are great. I'm more than happy, Spirit, to say that we both did some incredible work. I have no problem with that. Dom is an incredible artisan in his own right, and as I was saying, we both did things in our own unique, different way. So let's go and jump back into Lightburn. You can see here I have this quick graphic. I'm just waiting to see if anyone comes up with the name of it. This graphic, if you take a look over here, is actually an image. So if we were to use the laser right now, what would actually happen is that this is the preview window. If we just play it, you can see that we would actually be creating this image layer by layer, or line by line, as it scans up, and we'll just scan this all the way through. Well, we can definitely do it that way, but that's going to take close to 5 hours to actually create. We don't want to do that. I want to take this image and I want to turn it into a raster image. Sorry, not a raster image, into a vector image, which means that the laser will actually be able to work out what's going on. And Audrey's got it right. It's the International Rescue sign logo from Thunderbirds. Adrian says, I used to watch that when I was a kid. There's nothing wrong with watching it when you're an adult, Adrian, let me tell you. So this is the logo that's on their sash and on their vehicles. This is the International Rescue logo. So how do we take this and turn it into a vector so that the laser's only drawing out the shapes that we need? So one of the things that I was incredibly impressed with when it comes to Lightburn was its ability to be able to go and create an image from tracing. So I don't know if anyone, I'm sure people have used this already, but the way you actually go about is that if you go into the tools section here, there is a command called trace image, but right now it's grayed out because nothing is selected. So let's select the image. So there's your graphic that you brought in. You can go to tools and then you go to trace image. And this pops up another window. And you can see here that you've got the graphic and a whole bunch of different sliders and different options that you can pick. And around this graphic, you can actually see that there's a purple line. And if we zoom in, and you can see around here, we've got this purple line. And what that's telling us is this is actually what Lightburn is going to trace. And you can see here where the black and the white is. And what that does that, unfortunately, there's no default on this, but why it does that is the fact that you have a cutoff and a threshold. So a lot of people go, Gil, what's the controls about? What's the cutoff and the threshold? So first of all, the cutoff is the slider that controls the lower end of the values. And when we're talking about values, we're talking about color. So all the lighter colors. And technically, this is between 0 and around about 128. So what we can do is, if we start sliding this up, can you see that the purple line just got a lot thicker? So if we go in here, do you see how there's like, if we look in here, can you see how there's now 2 or 3 lines? But if we put the cutoff to 0, there isn't, and then it starts kind of creating more and more lines as it's going out, and you can see it's now breaking up. So what's actually happening is the tracing program, the algorithm in the software is going, okay, I was looking at the white line, now I'm looking into the grays, so it doesn't know how to kind of distinguish those. So if we put it at 0, you can see there's the 2 lines here. When you start sliding it up, and sometimes you might not have an image that is so clean. This image happens to be quite clean, so that's one of the reasons why I picked it. But it allows you to understand that if you've got an image that you're trying to isolate, you can actually go into the grays to get the best image that you would want to actually use. Mal, you've got 2 monitors, so one's a YouTube video and Lightburn's on the other. That's awesome, man. That is really clear. I never didn't think of that. I need to have more monitors here as well. The threshold is also a slider that works in a very similar way, but it actually works on the darker images. So let's zoom in here again, and let's start sliding this down, and you can see that as the threshold's going down, it's biting into the dark, into the blacks. Now the threshold actually can go all the way up to 256, but we don't want to do that because we're going to lose too much information. So the default is 128. So that's 128 there, and you can see it's got a pretty good definition of what's going on there. And basically, that will exclude all the results up to what they call 255. So if you've had any kind of experience with color theory when it comes to creating images on a computer, your range of intensities from 0 to 255. A lot of people who make web pages, they also use those numbers. So that gives you the ability to kind of choke some of the images or some of the information in your image when you're trying to scan it. So just think cutoff, the top one, that's white, threshold is black. You also have a command here called sketch, and I'm just going to zoom in again. Actually, I'm going to zoom in this area. Whoa, hang on a second. There, that's better. And if we hit sketch and we start playing with this, can you see that this area kind of broke up a little bit? And you can see this here as well. So this gives it a more of an artistic kind of flair. We'll just turn that off. We'll turn that back on again. And you can see what's going on here. Let me just pop up there and bring that in. So there's sketch on, sketch off. So it just kind of does an interpretation as opposed to actually, it's almost like putting a filter on this selection itself. If you're doing line drawings or handwriting or anything with an uneven curve, that's what sketch trace is all about. And I think someone mentioned it in the chat room just before. Adrian retracted his message. Not sure what that's about, but that's okay. You're allowed to. So you've got, as I said, that option as well. Now, a little bit further down, let's go into this area here. Let's say I wanted to, out of this image, I wanted to get the I and the R for international rescue. I don't want anything else there. Normally, what a lot of people do is they will actually get this trace image, put it into the workflow, into the workspace, sorry, and then they'll have to ungroup it and start selecting. But you can actually select in here, and you can actually start kind of defining which areas you want to trace. And you can see Tracy Island, Mr. Tracy. Wow. That's kind of cool. But you can see here, by putting a box in, it's only going to trace the things that are actually in here. So this gives you a lot of control. Maybe you want to, maybe I just want the hand. So let's, click anywhere. It allows everything else to trace, but I should go further in. Wow, I always hate, I don't hate it, but I can also just take this bounding box and start, isolating the areas that I want, so I don't have as much information in there. So again, it gives you an ability to actually select the area that you want to trace and just isolate that without having to dig it out of a whole bunch of other other information. You also have a below a command called ignore less than, and that's where my mouse is right now. And ignore than less than is a setting that helps the vectorizer or the algorithm to ignore anything smaller than a certain pixel. So these images are made up of pixels. If you zoom all the way in, you can kind of see how those images are, kind of those lines are kind of jagged. And if you turn this off, you can see the shape change. Now I'm going to turn on points. I'm going to show points if I can. I'm actually going to also fade the image. So now you can see these points. If I increase that to 2, those images become more uniform. So that's something that you can also use. Now, there is a maximum value when it comes to ignoring less than, but if you put it to 2, that's 2 pixels. 3, 4, 5. After a while, it's not going to do anything. 8 pixels. But again, if you can see just there at 0, you can see that these lines just here are a little bit bowed. But if you ignore them, even just 1 and 2, you can see. Let's see if I can actually show it to you, the difference. I can see it on my screen. I hope it's coming through. But there's a slight bow in this area, and there's a slight bow in this one. But by actually bringing it up, it actually gives it a bit of a straighter edge, which is awesome. So that allows you to be able to again hone that trace element just a little bit more. I always put it on the default, which is 2. I find I get great results out of that. We also have smoothness, which also smooths out the bitmap. So let me go and hold on a second, let's click that out. So again, all these points are the points that make up the vector. Smoothness also works on smoothing that out. So if we increase it, I don't know if you can see that live, but it's actually smoothing out some of the I was going to say the angles, but the curves especially. You can see that happening, and you can only smooth, the maximum is 1.334, but you can take it down to 0. So let's go down to 0 and let's just show what's going on there. As you can see, with the smoothness, it had to put more points into the trace to try and get that those shapes. But if we go to 1, it removes a lot of those points, which is what you want to do. What you're trying to do right now with the smoothness is just to remove some of those value points, so that you can get a smooth line. And I find smoothness is something that I play with depending on what it is that we're doing. We also have optimize, which is just here, which is also a great feature. And this is after you generate lines on the curves, the trace image feature will attempt to merge similar lines together. So you can actually, if you to turn this off, if we go to 0, sometimes you get double lines in the trace. So what we can do is we can actually put an optimize so that it will work. Sometimes you got to do this by hand. I tried this just before, and I found that I had to go and clean it up. So we'll see what we can do there. I always get it mixed up. There you go. We're in it. Fade image helps you see the actual purple trace line, which is important sometimes when you're fiddling with some of these settings. Show points, which we showed before, are all the different vector points that are in here. So if you wanted to go into nodal edit and change some of those shapes once it is a vector, you can definitely do that. Clear boundary is something that I haven't actually really used before, and I'm not too sure. I did try to do some research onto it. I'm not sure what clear boundary does. I'm going to go and speak to Jason from Lightburn, and we'll see whether or not we can ask him directly. Now, there is a command here that says delete image after trace, and I have that on. So a lot of people sometimes go, wow, what happened to my image? If you actually don't turn that on, look what happens. We go okay, and it looks like nothing's happened, right? Nothing's happened. There's my images there, but there are 2 layers. Oh, they've turned it into, let's go into blue. So that's my trace layer and the original layer. Let's undo that both. Let's go back into trace. I'm going to use the hotkey, which is Option T on the Mac. Let's go delete image after trace, and you can see here, I'm just going to put it into blue so you can all see it, that we have a traced image from that vector. Now I'm looking at this. This is all grouped, but as I go in, actually it did it. We got all the settings perfectly. When I did this last time, it had a few things that we needed to clean up. But what we can actually do here as well is that if we go to this simulation, well, we've got a few lines. Where's the yellow line? That's interesting. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's go in there. And you can see it's going to take a minute, well, 2 minutes to actually do that. But as it's tracing, you can see it's actually doing a second line. I don't want that for my artwork. I just don't want to do that. So what I can do as well is select this, go into and split it up from group. And then I can just go in and I can say, well, I like the outer line, but I don't like that inner line. Let's delete that. And in the hand, what do I want to do? Am I good here? Yep, I am good. I think that's all the weeding we need to do in this image. Oh, okay, we can go and take a look at these. When I pulled out, they were looking a little ragged, but they actually look pretty tight here. And now I have an image. So when I reselect and turn it into a group, I now have a piece that I can then engrave on any other pieces that I want. So when I'm going to go and make my International Rescue Thunderbird machines, I can actually go and use these pieces, and I can make it any, and it's a really super fast way of being able to get a piece of artwork into Lightburn and use the line command or the line function so that the laser, instead of tracing it from the top, which we were doing before, let's play this 40 times, or we'll just scroll through. You can see it's actually creating it, as a vector line, which is something that you can do. You can break it down if you want to use different colors and all the rest of it. You can actually do that. Do you have to convert the path before you can delete it? I'm not actually converting the path here, Jen. What I'm doing is, at this point, all the paths and lines are in a group. It'll automatically put them in a group for you, so I can resize all of it, and I can select the artwork from any of those lines. To actually remove that, I go up to the command here that says ungroup selection, and when I do that, I now am able to select each line individually, and that's what I did. So I can actually go in there and select what I want and what I don't want. So again, like, I could quite easily remove that outer line, and now I've got a little bit less, I've got more definition on the design. Go back here, and instead of it going through multiple lines, I've actually just got one. So I can actually choose that. I always like, once I've got this to a place that I like, I always select all of it and again regroup it so that it's an element that I can use, and I can save this. I can do whatever I want. Oh, look at that. See, I missed an element here, right here. So let's undo that by going backwards again. Let's make sure that everything is grouped. And now we are grouping the selection. And you know what? Here we go. That's better. That's what I wanted to see. So that is how you use the trace function in Lightburn. Very, very powerful. Sometimes, you might go onto an SD store and they'll say to you, we'll sell you the vector of this piece of artwork. Well, I've actually gone and just traced the artwork myself and modified it and then used it myself. Not stealing, but sometimes you're able to actually use some of the functionality in Lightburn to be able to get the result that you want. Malcolm sharing with us, I have a line drawing of a hybrid camper I haven't played with trace to get a lasable file. Need more work to get an acceptable output. Sometimes it's really easy. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So yeah, you know what? It's just about trying out and learning what some of the limits are to trace. Trace is not going to save you every time, but if you are able to get line drawings or defined, really well-defined graphics, you can be able to do that and then use Lightburn to lay them out in different places. I've even taken my company logo, which I have as a what do they call it, Adobe Illustrator file is what I'm trying to say, and I couldn't find it. So I just took the JPEG and then traced it in Lightburn and then made business cards using that, and just cleaned it up a little bit. One of the things you can do, Mal, is when you want to dive a little bit deeper, is you can actually edit the nodes, which are those little dots that came up when we were in trace, you can actually push and pull them. So if, let's say, something's not as straight or there's a curve that you don't want, you can actually go in there and modify it themselves. It is incredible what Lightburn is able to allow you to create. Absolutely. So this is one of those, takes a bit of time. Yeah, that's okay, man. That's all right. We all learn, and it's the best way to be able to go and do that. So that is the deep dive on Lightburn for this stream. That's tracing. Tracing is really, really cool. It's quite simple. My suggestion, go grab some images, throw them into Lightburn, play with the functionality, and see what it can do for you. It is a pretty amazing tool, and it's actually, of all the pieces of software, Inkscape, all that sort of ink trace, all that sort of stuff, I actually find that it happens to be Lightburn that has the best algorithm when it comes to tracing. I've even taken things into Lightburn and then just spat them out as a vector file because Lightburn does it so well. That's what you're playing at with the moment, so you're doing it live right now. You keep doing that, Mal. Thank you so much for letting us know. Do you? If you buy the rights to an image, do you know if that means that you could use it to trace and create things in Lightburn, or should we stick with images that are free for consumer use? Jen, I can't talk about, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, so I'm just a guy on YouTube. But I got to be honest with you, the stuff that I use, I usually I don't have a business on this. Like, my business is educating and inspiring people to use the technology. So it's not a case of for me to, like, if I'm going to use the International Rescue logo, it's only for my own personal use. So I'm not too sure. You'll have to look into it. But, I think copyright free would probably be better. I think in the case of Etsy, if there's a piece of artwork you want to use, I would totally say, you speak to the people before you purchase it, see what they say about it. I mean, that's an area that's a little out of my scope, is what I'm trying to say. I would love to say that I'm a lawyer, but I just play a laser user here on Lightburn on YouTube. Lightburn, I got Lightburn on the mind. It's kind of crazy today, but yeah, that's exactly. I'm not too sure. You know what, Jen? I'd love to know if you want to do a little research on it and look into it. I would really love to know whether or not what the result is. I do know that if you change something a certain percent, it becomes a new product. But again, it really is. You're right. It's a real gray area. Don't take Mickey Mouse and scan him. I think Disney might say something. But as for the rest of it, I see a lot of people doing, like, Star Wars merchandise and T-shirts and stuff like that, and they sometimes disappear off Etsy. But yeah, some images allow personal use only. There you go. Mal knows. Creative Commons is something you might want to search up about, but that again is something a little bit on left field for me. So I do apologize about that. Let's jump in, and I want to share with you the good, the bad, and the ugly of materials when it comes to laser cutting. I gotta get maybe if I can whistle it today. Hang on a second. Let's go to the good. The good is EVA foam. This is a material that I absolutely love, and I use this quite often in my laser cutter. And now EVA foam stands for ethanol vinyl acetate. And I know you're going right now, vinyl, Gil, you've told us so many times, vinyl, don't put vinyl in a laser cutter. Vinyl is bad. Vinyl has chlorine. Well, let me tell you, although this material is classified as vinyl, it contains no chlorine whatsoever. And this is something that I use all the time, especially in thin layers, 1 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil. In my Blazer, I've gone up as far as 10 mil, but I don't suggest it because outside of 6 mil, it starts to bow the laser, but you can cut it. Although it's classified as I said, vinyl, it contains no chlorine, so it's not a problem. Again, make sure you have some ventilation. Cutting any material releases, some sort of gas that you don't want to breathe in. If you've got one of the filtration units, you should be fine. This cuts extremely well, especially in thin sheets. I do a lot of signage this way because it is solid colors. You are able to actually create, signage and a whole bunch of other things. Well, I've shown you guys in previous laser live streams the actual signs that I've made through it. I also like using this with in school classes and with school students because, again, it's very cheap. It cuts very, very fast. You can actually cut something, a big detailed piece out of this EVA foam very, very, very quickly. And in fact, I've got, if I remember correctly, do I actually have it here? Yeah, there you go. Here's some examples of some of the signage that I've made. I glue all of this with the same glue sticks they use in the class. You can see there the Korova milk bar, another reference to a film. My caution, this equipment produces creativity when energized, and the transporter door logo from Star Trek that sits in my bathroom door. So it is really, really cool. Where do you get EVA foam? I get mine from Spotlight. It's about $20 for a pack that fits into the laser easily. Mike has got some from Officeworks. They call it craft foam as well. Just make sure it is EVA foam. Adrian says, I've just got a serious hobby until I can get a business license. Oh, of course. Yeah, man. It's all hobby work. Don't worry about that. Hobby King may help with that, Malcolm. Hobby King might have EVA foam, yeah, and also search. It's readily available. If Mal, if you're near a $2 shop, if you can go in there, sometimes they sell, a pack of 5 for like $2. So just grab it, give it a shot. Little tip here: white is really hard to cut. Now, I'm going to ask my awesome community in the chat room, why would white be really hard to cut? I'm going to let you guys answer it. But there you go. EVA foam is definitely the good when it comes to foams in being able to cut in a laser cutter. Let's look at the bad. And the bad is polypropylene. Now, polypropylene is a plastic used in like food containers, reusable water bottles, and outdoor furniture. It also has that, core flute is made out of polypropylene. Now, when you cut that, it has a tendency to catch fire and then hardens like a rock-like substance. So it's very hard to get out of your machine. It definitely catches fire. Just be aware of that. You can cut it. I was actually speaking to Dominic before we went live. He does cut polypropylene. He cuts sheets under 1 mil thick. So, you know what? It is one of those things that just be aware of. Anything, 1 or 2 mil, you have a chance of it catching on fire. So just be aware of that. You can, but it's a very difficult piece of material to work with. That's why it's the bad. You can get a result out of it if you are careful enough, but I would say, yeah, this is not a material you want to play with too much. I see in the chat room, Mike's trying to answer the question, why does white EVA foam hard to cut? It does reflect a lot of that energy away, so you need to take it really slow, and you actually have to play with the amount of power when you're cutting white EVA foam, because when it heats up, it starts to shrink. And you don't want that to happen. So there you go. And also, let's go with the ugly. The ugly is polystyrene foam. We all know what that is. Polystyrene foam, commonly used in packaging and even model making. Now, this stuff catches fire easily and it burns rapidly. A laser will actually set this alight really, really quickly, and it will actually melt as it's burning. This people putting polystyrene foam into laser cutters is the #1 cause of laser fires. Guys, don't put polystyrene in anywhere near a laser cutter. It is just too dangerous, it's too messy, and it's just not worth it. So that concludes today's lesson of the good, the bad, the ugly when it comes to foam. EVA foam, grab a piece, throw it into your laser cutter, give it a try. It is really awesome. Polypropylene, if you want to use it, make sure that 1 mil tops. Black material, I've seen some results out of that down at Darkly Labs. It's great stuff to know. But again, just be aware. I saw some people take some of those plastic milk cartons that are made out of polypropylene. They put it in the laser. Big mess in the machine. Also, milk is not really good when you put energy near it. Boy, it stank like anything. So, you don't want to do that sort of stuff. Mal sharing with us Polypropylene is included in the commonly used materials on the Darkly website for the Emblazer. 3 mil polypropylene. All right, I'll definitely check that out. As I said, I'm going by the stuff that I've worked with. Dom was saying before he's been very successful with the 1 mil. I will definitely speak to him about it again. Maybe they've got to change that. But you know what? There's different. You know what? I can only go with what is going through with that. Mike sharing with us with polystyrene, it's way better to use a hot wire to cut polystyrene. I agree. It's also a much faster way of being able to work through that material. So you know what? Let me. I've got Dom's ear right now because we did the whole laser challenge. Let me see what he says. But Adrian's going to stick to acrylic, not in the Emblazer, unfortunately. Oh, well, you can. Excuse me. You can cut acrylic, especially black solid acrylic material in the Emblazer, way better than just make sure it's not transparent. Because I keep forgetting. I keep thinking acrylic as in clear. I actually got my hands on some black acrylic, so I'm going to try that this next week. Make sure my windows are open regardless. But I actually haven't tried that out. I'm going to use some of the settings that Mike has shared with us in the Facebook group. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Guys, I want to thank you for being here. Before we go, I do want to let people know that the virtual classes are still running. I've had some really great sessions with some people. If you want some... if you're doing some one-on-one work, or you want, maybe there's a hurdle in Lightburn, or you're working on a project and you want a little bit of attention, maybe even setting up the machine, feel free to email us at laser.livestream@gmail.com. I'm here to help, and we can definitely, work on that. I want to thank the amazing Darkly Labs and Dominic especially for making these live streams happen, as well as the Lightburn team for also helping us make that happen. Guys, I will be back in 2 weeks' time with the next laser live stream. If you got, I don't know, I know we've been going long, so I didn't ask if anyone has any questions specifically for the end of this stream, but if you have, please let me know. If you've been watching this on the replay and you have some questions, feel free to either email us or come by the Facebook group, join in the conversation, share what you're making, and together we're all going to grow into an amazing laser community, and that's why I do this every fortnight. I was going to say every single week. Mal, Adrian, Malcolm, Mike, Jen, Audrey, Dominic, and Bruce, who I think Bruce is out. Bruce was out once he saw the project. He was like, I'm done. But I want to thank you all for being here. For all those people lurking in the background or watching on the replay, thank you so much for being here too. Guys, I will see you in 2 weeks. And I just want to say, guys, stay safe. We're still dealing with this coronavirus thing that is just kind of popping up here and there. It's going to be through our diligence of being aware that we're going to get through all of this. And when you have a moment, jump onto your lasers and make something amazing. That's it. Stay well, make something incredible, and I'll see you all in 2 weeks' time.